to Lifting Leaders Podcast, where we explore what it means to lead with courage, clarity, and heart in a world that's asking more of us than ever before. I'm Kristal Roberts.
And I'm Tricia Rhine.
We are two Hudson and ICF certified coaches with over 70 years experience helping leaders thrive.
This year, we're focusing on something both simple and powerful. Light the spark, ignite genuine hope, and lead the change.
Because leadership doesn't begin with having all the answers. It begins when someone is willing to notice what's possible, to name what needs to change, and to take one brave step forward.
Whether you're leading a team, an organization, a community, or simply yourself, this is an invitation to lead with intention, to stay human, and to believe that your actions matter.
So take a breath, lean in, and let's begin. Hi, Tricia. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay, too.
Yeah, I got about 3 hours or 4 hours sleep last night, so I'm kind of grumpy. But that's okay. That's okay. I'll try and inspire you anyway.
Yeah. Feels sometimes like there's not a lot to be inspired about. But And if we look in the right places, we can find that we're doing a coach's corner today.
Yeah.
So excited about that.
That part is good. Yeah, I'm getting in a better mood already. Thanks.
Well, and one of the things that seems to be coming up quite a bit in my coaching sessions is how to be a more inspirational leader. And I think because people feel pretty challenged right now, it's like, how do I summon that up? And what does that even really look like to be an inspirational leader, especially in these times right now? And so I thought, why not do a podcast on that? Do a coach's corner. What does it actually look like? And I think a lot of people think that inspirational leader, they think of the big charismatic, bold, loud kind of person who might be a little bit slick, who can, make at least sort of cursory connection with people. And we know that that's actually not true, that an inspirational leader, there's a lot more that goes into that. And I hope anyway that when we talk about this, that people will be inspired themselves, that anyone can be an inspirational leader. It's not like that you're born with this.
Everyone can be an inspirational leader. You're right. Yeah. I mean, and I think it takes, having some passion sometimes too about what you're talking or what you're trying to inspire people toward, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's wonderful. I've been to conferences and things like that, and they always choose people who have a certain energy, or they try to, for their keynote speaker or somebody who's got a really compelling message, right?
Yeah.
And there are some that truly are inspirational because you've followed them before and you know that they're totally authentic, and they've written books on it, and it has never steered you wrong. But then there are those who are, by virtue of the fact that they have an energy about them, in the moment they're inspirational. Mm-hmm. But when you leave that conference, sometimes you don't take the message with you.
Yeah.
So it's, it truly is something everybody can do. I think it matters, though, what you're trying to inspire people towards sometimes.
Right? Yeah. And I think that point you brought up about that it's kind of fleeting, that sort of charismatic leader. They may have depth, so I don't want to take that away, but you do have to have energy. I think energy, even if it's a quiet energy or a calm energy, is important. But we know that these are things that if we want to be a sustainable inspiration, we want to be an inspirational leader, not just kind of a rah-rah motivation speaker. There are some things that we can do as leaders that will make sure that it sticks with people for the long term, and you can inspire people over time, not just a one-time kind of flash in the pan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we think it's important also when we think about igniting genuine hope, because of that sustainability piece and that, and we'll talk more about this when we talk about kind of what are the key elements of an inspirational leader and what are the things that you can do to be an inspirational leader.
I think, though, if I can just add that if people heard my Spark episode on the intersection between hope and trust, there's a lot in there that also links very closely to inspiration. I think that it takes authenticity and that, that ongoing commitment to do things consistently, be consistent, communicate messages, whether they are happy messages or not so happy messages, but be honest.
Right.
And, so people learn to trust you. And I think people can be very inspired by people they trust.
Yeah, I think that's totally true. And I'm glad that you made that connection. I really loved your Spark episode. It gave me a lot to think about. But yeah, the genuine, igniting genuine hope, it's not always about that everything is rosy.
Yeah.
Inspiration can also come from having to take a hard look at where we're at right now, which might not be a very good place.
But the hope in that is, while it may not be a very good place right now, there are possibilities ahead.
Yeah.
And the inspiration is to inspire people to go along with you in the journey.
Yeah.
The trust happens when people do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So when we think about what are some practices that leaders can do, and you kind of alluded to this already, Tricia, but it's really making sure that you have a clear, compelling vision of where you want people to actually go, so that you're inviting them into a picture that they can actually sort of touch, taste, feel, experience now,
right?
So that they know where they're headed.
Yeah, and with that, if I can just add a little bit, I think about what you said a few minutes ago about how it's not always about, being happy or something. That's great. But to be able to tell the story is really important. And that's where storytelling, we've talked about that before too, where it's important for leaders to be able to tell the story, map it out for people. Here's where we were and how it worked so beautifully for us for a long time. And then, these forces came in and changed the world for us, the global economy or whatever, that has changed the way we've had to do business because what we used to do isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And so here's where we are right now. And we're wondering, we want to move into this area, and we're not quite sure what it looks like yet.
Yeah.
But we need your help. We need your help. We don't know the final answer just yet. We want you to help us create that. And that is inspiration too.
Yeah. And I have seen so many leaders do that. I mean, you can think about that in business, you can think about it in politics. And when it is done well, you can feel the shift in energy for people.
Yeah, because they can see it.
Yeah.
It's you said have a vision, and that's really what they're doing is they're inspiring a vision, right?
Exactly.
In other people's minds so that they can almost see it happening. And I went to only one in my whole life, and I probably should be absolutely ashamed of this, but I'm not. I've only been to one real political rally in my life, and it was when I lived in San Francisco, and it was fired up, but the candidate I truly believed in, and just because of what I'd read on him and everything, and he was going for mayor of San Francisco. And if anybody has ever followed San Francisco, you probably might know who I'm talking about. But anyway, he had that ability to tell the story and to show connections with the past and where we were right now and where we want to go. And the vision that he had, even though he didn't have a complete idea of what it was going to look like at the end, he was pulling people in. And I think that was the first time I actually really felt myself being shifted to your point, right?
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Yeah. And I think it's that possibility piece, right?
Yeah.
And people want to be able to move into better possibilities.
Well, and so it goes to the point, why does this work matter? People need to see that compelling reason, right?
Yep.
It's not just because I like it. It's
Yeah.
not because I want you to. So what?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because, it's has to do with maybe improving something, or it might have to do with a better world for you,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be that global probably, because I wouldn't follow that.
Yeah.
But if you told me exactly what is going to be different and how I can have a part of it,
Yeah.
a part in it,
Yeah.
I'm there.
Especially if we can actually connect it to other people. I was thinking about some of these inspiring visions around a house for every family, or
Yeah.
joy, or something where you're actually making a difference in other people's lives, whatever your organization is producing,
Yeah.
or the service that you're providing, that it's actually making a difference to somebody else.
Yeah, I think about people in like civil rights movements and things like that. And Obama, my
Yeah.
goodness, I don't care if we're using people's names here. He is so inspiring. He and his wife both. And his vision's always for something much bigger than himself or his own wants. It has to do with the people and the world, and for a better place to live. So I find when I think of an inspiring speaker or someone I want to follow, that's him.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You mentioned this already, but thinking about when we talk about stories instead of just facts, facts are important, and sometimes they can actually be inspiring.
Yeah.
So when people really understand, oh, this is what our current situation is, and we can have some data and some science behind that, that's more trustworthy, potentially. But the stories that you connect to them, that's where the heart comes in, and that's where the inspiration comes in.
I love what you just said, because I think it's really important for us to at least say it out loud, or at least for me to say out loud, that data is just data.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of love for data. I know people who work their entire world around data, and that's all they trust. And I think it's unfortunate, because data may inform you, but it's the story and what you do with the data and how that is, it's just something in the background for either good to know, maybe you need to know as you're designing something, but it's really all about the people.
And when we think about stories, those stories can be customer stories, they can be employees, stories about employees. And I think some of those are really, when we think about culture, those are really important. So when we think about what's the culture we want, and then telling the stories of the employees who are doing amazing things, going the extra mile. I remember, this is way back when I was in business school, but they would talk about a story about Nordstrom, where the employee got on a plane and took I don't know, it was an interview suit or something like that, all the way to New York or something. And how they told that story over and over about, this is what we're about. We're about customer service. So telling those sort of legacy stories to inspire people.
My story in school was with the Ritz-Carlton, and how every employee, whether they were, cleaning rooms or anything, had the authority to make a decision that could cost up to $3,000. Because if someone needed something, or they weren't happy about something, and you knew of a way of making them happy and it was going to cost money, so what?
Yeah.
You could make that happen. And because of that, Ritz-Carlton went for many years as the premier, in the world of five-star resorts and hotels. But I loved that message, because that stuck with me. I went to college a little bit before you did, but it stuck with me because it's so important that, those are compelling stories that people can go, wow, that I would love to work there, or I would love to have that kind of an environment for my people. Right?
Yeah. And where you can see that kind of show up too, when people are truly bought into that vision. I think it was St. Jude who every single employee, when you ask them, what's your purpose here? Whether you're sweeping the floor or you're a surgeon or a researcher, their answer is, I'm here to cure cancer.
Yes.
And like that clarity around, here's what I'm here to do, no matter what my job is. Yeah.
Whoa.
Those are inspired employees. That's a vision.
Yes.
I think the other thing too, and I think sometimes we think, oh, how would that be? How would that work? But is not to shy away from our failures either. Mm-hmm. Those can be great stories too of how we tried and when we had courage and we learned from that. We learned from that failure. And because of that hard thing we went through, we bounced back, that resilience that we've kind of been talking about in the last few episodes. And so that can actually give us inspiration to see that, oh yeah, we overcame something.
You might recall that we had in a program that we helped design an element of storytelling, but the point of it was we brought in high-level executives to talk about, when they had a failure and how they rose above that, learned from it, and moved on to become what they were today, right? And it was with the point of inspiring those people that were in the room. And I thought it was very effective for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. It was one of those things that at the end of the program, when we did the evaluation, we always heard from people about how much insight came from those stories for them. It like shifted how people thought about leadership.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Another thing that people can do, that leaders can do, is to inspire people through giving people feedback, which I know people are kind of scared of.
You've heard this before.
Yeah. Feedback can feel scary sometimes to give people feedback. But when we can do that, and we can do it in a way that helps people see where their strengths are, can help them see the possibilities, that this is just a failure maybe, or it can be feedback on something that they did really well. So both those things. But really helping people see, oh yeah, this is what good looks like, and this is where we're headed.
Yeah, and I like that because one of the things we've talked about feedback a lot on this podcast, and we've always emphasized both positive and constructive, but people will immediately go to constructive.
Yeah.
And what went wrong and how do we fix it, right? And I think it's really important that to be the kind of leader that actually inspires, that at least half of that feedback needs to be the positive, because people come to work, people come to their job to do a good job.
Yeah.
They don't get up in the morning and say, I'm going to screw up everything today. I just want to see how bad I can get. No, they come because they want to make a difference, right? They want to be proud of themselves. And it's really awesome when a leader recognizes that and, kind of bumps them up and shows them how, let's do that again, right? Let's see what else you can do.
Yeah. When somebody believes in you and believes in that you can do it, and gives you the space to actually try something new.
Have you ever had a leader like that?
I have. I've had many leaders who have done that. And you rise to the occasion. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is very inspirational. I was thinking about quite a bit earlier in my career when I had a leader who let me take the leadership role in the leadership conference that we were going to be having, bringing the top 200 leaders together. Mm-hmm. And she sort of said, okay, so this is yours. And I'd never led one before. I've been a part of the team doing that. And it was really fun. I had the resources. That was important to be able to get it done. I could put my team together, so it wasn't just me by myself. And working with the executive team, because it was all about what they wanted to bring. And it was really successful. It was a lot of fun to have somebody just give me something that was a big stretch.
Yeah.
It was a stretch. Yeah.
Yeah, I have too. I've been very lucky. I've had my very first one is the reason why I went into organizational development, right?
Yeah.
I still to this day adore that man because of how inspiring he was. I can almost hear his voice, whenever I'm doing something different or new. And I've had a few others, and I'm sitting across from one who was amazingly inspiring for me.
Thank you.
And I just, I think I am where I am today because of you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
And then we have, it's not always easy to be completely optimistic, right? I mean, it's wonderful to be optimistic, but there are people who will say that's being almost gullible sometimes when you're so optimistic, right? But being hopeful doesn't necessarily mean that you are being blindly optimistic, right? Being hopeful it's like, this is hard, right? And together, if you are with me, we can make a difference. We can move forward. We can reach this. It doesn't mean that, oh, it's all going to be great. You'll see, hearts and flowers, lots of unicorns on the other side. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's more about, it may be hard, but with your help, but with your guiding hands with me, or whatever. I think we can make it to the other end. Let's design that together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is so important, that together piece, that I'm not the leader, and so therefore it's going to happen. It's like, no, we're doing this together, and because of the strength of our diverse skills, our diverse perspectives, and the capabilities that we bring together, we can do things that we might not have even believed that we could do a day ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if we wanted to have a framework around that, we could say, tell the truth. Right?
Yeah.
Be honest,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Name the possibility.
Yeah.
What could it be,
Yeah.
right? And then focus on what the next steps are.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Asking bigger questions.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Not playing small, but really thinking about what are the things that will be challenging, but we are up to it, whether we know how to get there or not.
It's
right?
like, what could we envision too?
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I think often kind of stalls is those surface level questions, or close-ended questions, the ones that get a yes or a no, or they don't really lead you anywhere. So, having those questions that are deeper, the ones that really spark you to think in your head, what could success look like if we were to move in this direction?
Yeah.
What would it look like?
Yeah.
What could we do?
Yeah. Maybe even what opportunities are we missing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes we can all get sort of groupthink around this is the only path forward, but maybe there's something we haven't even thought about yet.
Yeah. And if you think about, do we even have the capabilities, right? So what are we capable of, and that we haven't even tried before, right?
Yeah.
To your point there.
Yeah. And thinking about down the road, it's being able to say, picture yourself a year from now. What do you want people to be saying about this team or this organization?
I used to use that as a vision to start people thinking about their vision statement, right?
Yeah.
And, mine was a little bit further out, but I think 1 year is actually perfect these days, right? Because things happen so quickly.
Yeah.
A vision can be something you just look. Hopefully you're never going to completely get your vision. You're always going to be moving in that direction. But
yeah. So asking questions that expand people's thinking.
Yeah, because if I can see how I can get into this, what my part might be, I own it.
Yeah.
And if I own it, I'm going to be more apt to work as hard as I can for it to be successful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. As a leader, one of the most powerful things I think that we can do is believe in people before they even believe in themselves. And we're sort of sharing our confidence of them with them to sort of bolster them, give them some energy. And again, it has to be authentic. So if this person really is struggling, maybe you want to think about that a little
Yeah.
bit. But for somebody who is really doing well and is successful, but might not have a lot of confidence. I coach a lot of people that are like that. It's kind of interesting when even me as a coach, right? I'm not even their leader. When I have confidence in them and I can point out to them, hey, this is where I've seen, based on the things that they've told me, these are really great strengths that you have. These are some successes that you can capitalize on. All of a sudden you can see the wheels turning. It's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like they can sort of start to shift their mental model around who they are. And so a leader even has more power, I think, around that.
And that goes back to the spark that I did last week too, where we talked about, and I actually, as you recall, I did mention you about how as coaches, one of the things we often will start with is, what have you done that worked really well? What has been something that has worked well for you? Because if they can capture those things that have worked well, those are the things they're more confident about.
Yeah.
The things that don't work well seem like they're overwhelming to even tackle sometimes. But if you start with what they're doing well, sometimes that's a foundation that can help people move forward.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so important.
Yeah. To hold that vision that you have of them.
Yeah.
So that they can live into it. Yeah. And some things, simple things that you can say to people is things like, I trust you.
Yeah.
Or I think you're ready. I believe you can do this. Yeah.
And you mentioned that maybe there are people who are actually struggling, and so you want to actually, look at those folks who are doing okay, but they may not be confident. I believe that those people who are struggling need it too, because often we haven't found that one thing that they are absolutely going to shine in.
Yeah.
And so I believe in leadership. It's not just this person is a troublemaker and we're going to put them on the side and the rest I'll concentrate on my good workers, right? But the reality is that most often everybody's a good worker. You just have to sometimes help people find what they shine in.
Yeah.
And, that's if a person is lacking confidence, that comes out in their behavior sometimes, especially if they've never been told they do well at anything and they're not hearing it at work either.
Yeah. I think more what I was trying to get at, and I think I may have overplayed that a little bit. I think what I was trying to get at is we have to be true. We have to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. So like you were saying, finding what they're good at. It's not that we're just trying to shine somebody up.
Right.
So we have to be especially careful with those people that are struggling, that we can find something that is, that will resonate with them, that it feels like truth to them, that we genuinely see, so that that's where it grows.
Yeah.
It's not disingenuous.
No, and I thank you for saying that, because I did understand that, but I know it could probably be misconstrued a bit. But I think also to get to find those things, it takes getting to know the person.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a connection thing that leaders can do, and that also helps them become inspiring.
Yeah.
Because if they can make that connection, that often is the entrance. That's the threshold you have to walk through, right?
Yeah. Holding that positive regard for your employees, which can feel hard when they're making a lot of mistakes, when they may be a prickly person.
Right.
We have to hold our respect for them, our positive regard, and look deep to find those pieces where they have their strengths. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's important.
And of course, I think inspiring leaders do show up most when things are really hard. So people don't really always remember, what leaders did during those easy times when things were doing really well.
Yeah.
They're on their own path pretty much, right? But when things are hard, or when things are difficult, or when something is facing them that is in some ways frightening or concerning because you don't know what that means for you or your job or whatever, that's when a leader's inspiration sometimes shows up best or it's most needed.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to inspire people to keep going in spite of all the things that are going on around them, you know, that's where you find that you look for that inspiration, right? And so they become inspirational leaders become more visible.
Yes.
And that's important,
It's
right? Because
really
when things are
important.
really going well, you don't always see your leader, right?
Yeah.
But when they're not going well, you have to see your leader. You need your leader to be there. And they need to be more available. That open door policy we used to hear about, it needs to be there. And leaders walking around would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Check in every day, see how your folks are doing individually,
Yeah.
right? And they need to be even more honest. Because if something's going on and you're keeping it from your folks, if I'm keeping it from my team, if I have one, then I'm doing the wrong thing. Because we're adults and they want to know. They want to know what's going on. I'm not going to hide it from them.
Yeah.
That would lose trust.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that leaders need to be even more hopeful. They need to show that, you know, this is going on right now, but don't let this stall everything.
Yeah.
Because look what we can do. Let's see what we can do right now to get through this right now.
Yeah.
And then let's take a look at what we might need to do going down the road. But I think we could do that together if you're willing, right?
Yeah. I think this one in practice is really challenging. And I don't see people do this well. And sadly, and oftentimes it's because they're busy. So especially in times of great change, the leader oftentimes is in a lot of meetings because they've got to be informed or are informing their leader. So they've got a lot going on that they're managing and end up getting stuck in their office. And you can see the negative outcomes that happen because of that. Yeah.
I think that also leaders are employees too. And some of these changes that go on in the world or in a business can be just as overwhelming for a leader as they are for the employee.
Yeah.
And so often, and not always, but often, a leader will have those moments of making assumptions themselves and knee-jerk reacting to them. And you hear a lot of that in sometimes leadership meetings where people are spinning on something, go, well, now we have to, what would we, but sometimes they have to do that too, because it happens at the employee level. And guess what, employees? It happens at the leader level too, because they're employees.
Yeah.
And so it really is important for them to have somebody above them who can be that one who holds the ground, is able to be honest, is able to be, visible, and all the things we just talked about for their direct report leaders.
Yeah.
So that they can not only show that they're inspiring them and keep them going, but also cast the shadow. Let them be the example for the leaders so that because we know it all cascades down, right?
Yeah.
If you've got a good leader at the top, chances are you're going to have good leaders underneath that who are going to have good leaders underneath that if it's all very healthy.
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're thinking about this, leaders, what is it that you need in order to be able to show up that way? So I was saying that people are busy, but also it's difficult to deal with people who are under stress. And so people are going to have questions and you probably can't answer them or you won't know what the right answer is. People are going to be unhappy. And so you have to be able to listen to their distress. And that's emotionally takes a lot of toll on people. And so how do you as a leader take care of yourself so that you can show up in that way? Take your breaks, go for a walk, make sure you're getting sleep. Are you eating healthy? All the basics, they're important all the time, but they're especially important during these challenging times so that you can show up for people in a more present, connected way. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So when we think about the things that we've just talked about, I hope we've made the case that you don't have to be, when you're an inspirational leader, you don't have to be more charismatic. You don't have to be more polished or, louder, essentially.
Right.
It's really about helping people find meaning, helping people find possibility, helping them believe that they have a place in this change, that they matter.
That's what inspirational leaders do. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So think about your stories. If you have something coming up and you need to talk to your team and perhaps you don't feel that you're as charismatic or as inspirational as you'd like to be, practice it. Practice in front of your mirror. Tell your story to yourself until you feel that you've got a compelling story that's honest and open and believable and involve your people. Include in your story a draw, something that draws people in and makes them want to be a part of it too. Make sure that they are the center, right?
Yes, absolutely. Ask those big questions. Believe in your team.
Yes.
Call out where you see greatness. Practice hope instead of optimism. Make sure you're painting that vision with lots of clarity and bright colors, and make sure people feel a part of where you're headed, that they bring a unique contribution that only they can bring, and you need them to make this vision a reality.
And if all that sounds like a whole lot of stuff that you have to do, it's not really that hard. It really isn't that hard. We would never suggest that you go down a road of, check the box. We've got 500 things you need to do to be inspiring. That's not the way it is. Just take it a step at a time. And if you're honest with yourself, and you can be honest with your folks, and keep your emotions in check while you're doing that, but make sure that you're keeping theirs in mind too.
Yeah.
That can be inspiring. And always, always, always try to keep hope alive.
Yeah. So if today's conversation encouraged you, share it with another leader who's working to inspire rather than simply manage. And remember, every conversation is an opportunity to help someone believe in a better future and in their ability to help create it. And before we go, we invite you to pause for just a moment and ask yourself, what spark was lit for me today? And where can I take one small, meaningful action? I think that's another, we say this a lot, one small, meaningful action. I think that's really important because sometimes even with this inspirational leader, people think they have to be somebody other than who they are.
I know.
And that, when you were talking about trust, that breaks trust like nothing else. When people expect you to show up one way and you kind of do a 180, all of a sudden here comes cheerleader Tricia. It's like, I don't know who that person is. So when you're trying something out to be a little more inspirational, just make a slight shift so that you're still you're still coming across as you, but you've shifted a little bit into a little bit more inspiration.
Just remember that being a leader and being an inspiring leader is not an actor's role.
Yes. Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
So this year, our focus is clear. Light the spark, ignite genuine hope, and lead the change. Because hope isn't passive. It's something we practice through intentional everyday choices. Leadership begins when we take what resonates and allow it to shape how we show up for others. And if this episode resonated with you, share it on your social media so that spark can travel even farther. We hope you'll keep listening because we have more exceptional podcast episodes coming up with more fantastic guests. So be sure to subscribe to Lifting Leaders Podcast on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen. If you're looking for help in navigating your leaders or would like a growth opportunity yourself, please contact us through our website at www.liftingleaderspodcast.com. Thank you to Ari Chance Roberts for his technical support of our show. Finally, please take 30 seconds to follow us. It helps you because you never miss an episode, and it helps us
because you never miss an episode.
To follow us, go to the Lifting Leaders Podcast Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Then just tap the plus sign in the upper right corner or click on follow. While you're there, if you'd be willing to give us a 5-star rating and review and share the episode with a friend, we'd be so grateful. Thank you, Tricia, for this wonderful conversation.
I am in such a good mood now. Thank you so much. You inspired me. Wow.
That's what we can do,
Thank
right?
you, Kristal.
As leaders, that's what we can do. Yeah. And you too, right? The conversation, the connection inspires me too. Many thanks to you, our listeners. We appreciate you. Until next time, keep lifting leaders.
Take care.